In nature, there are venomous snake species that not only hunt other species, but also eat their very own kind. Some species carry venom strong enough to quickly paralyze the nervous system or render the prey defenseless after just a short time. But even such predators sometimes still become the target of another snake that is larger or strikes first. These encounters usually happen unexpectedly and end in a highly unbelievable way. Welcome to the terrifying moments about venomous snakes eating their own kind ever caught on camera. Indigo snake versus rat snake. The rat snake is out on a hunt when it unexpectedly encounters one of North America's top snake predators, the indigo snake. A hunter by instinct, it overwhelms from the very first moment, before its opponent even understands what is happening. After several missed bites, it finally subdues the agile prey. The indigo snake possesses a superior evolutionary trait immunity to the venom of most other snakes in its region. Instead of suffocating prey with coils like pythons, the indigo relies purely on jaw strength to dominate. It does not wait for the prey to stop breathing. It begins swallowing as soon as it gains control, ignoring desperate struggles. Observe the swallowing technique. The predator must begin with the head. This is a physical law of survival. Swallowing confrontations aligns the scales backward, minimizing friction. If reversed, the scales would flare like hooks, damaging the esophagus. This massive meal will sustain the indigo snake for weeks, reaffirming its cold dominance within the ground-level food chain. Black racer versus cottonmouth. In dense forest undergrowth, speed is the ultimate weapon. A black racer embarks on its typical active hunt, searching rather than ambushing. The target appears a young cottonmouth. This is a dangerous gamble, as cottonmouths carry powerful cytotoxic venom. Unlike heat-sensing pit vipers, the racer relies on excellent vision and sharp scent detection. It searches for a substantial meal beneath camouflage leaf litter,
pinning its head beneath its body.
Because the racer is not fully immune to venom, it must strike first before the opponent can retaliate. A counterbite from the cottonmouth, but the racer quickly reverses the situation. Pulling back and gaining direct control of the head. The venomous snake's fate is sealed. Nature wastes nothing. The loser's body becomes energy for the victor, allowing it to continue ruling this forest. In the brutal struggle for survival, mercy does not exist. Only the stronger and faster earn the right to continue their story.
Of one of our epic encounters in nature.
Coral snake versus rat snake. Inside a rocky crevice, two opposing predators meet with no escape route. The coral snake advances. The attack is swift and ruthless. On one side, potent neurotoxin. On the other, pure muscular strength. When one gains advantage, the outcome is nearly predetermined. The neurotoxin rapidly attacks the nervous system, blocking signals from brain to muscles. The prey does not die in pain, but gradually falls into full paralysis and irreversible respiratory failure. The coral snake slowly feeds the limp body into its stomach.
But it serves as a warning to predators just as well.
Flexible jawbones allow it to swallow prey nearly equal to its own size. In desert silence, death arrives without noise, but with absolute precision. King Cobra versus Python. The king cobra chooses a python as its target. The massive reticulated python immediately responds with its greatest physical weapon, powerful muscular coils. But the king cobra has already delivered its lethal strike before being restrained. It embeds its venomous fangs deep into the rival's body. The king cobra uses the moment venom begins working to gradually escape the tightening coils. A large dose of neurotoxin enters the bloodstream, rapidly attacking the central nervous system and paralyzing respiration. The battle becomes a tragic stalemate. The more the python struggles, the faster the venom spreads due to increased blood pressure. The king cobra maintains its cold, unwavering bite, moving toward the prey's head to begin swallowing. A cold and brutal ending, affirming the absolute dominance of the king in the wild. King snake versus ringneck snake.
Its upper.
The California king snake, known for hunting other snakes thanks to venom resistance encounters, what appears to be ideal prey. But underestimating an opponent prepares it for a costly lesson. The regal ringneck snake strikes directly at the king snake's head and locks tight. A rare sight, the apex hunter suddenly becomes the victim.
Poisonous to us, but it's poisonous to others.
The king snake resists pit viper venom, but it is unprepared for the ringneck's secret weapon. This small snake possesses rear fangs, delivering a specialized neurotoxin targeting reptiles.
Yeah. King snakes.
The unexpected bite combined with constriction leaves the king snake, once a bully of others, paralyzed by venom. Its immune system never adapted to resist. The scene overturns common rules. The lesser-known snake controls the entire outcome. The king of snakes falls, not to greater strength, but to arrogance toward a supposedly harmless opponent. A costly lesson in the wild: never underestimate your prey. Blood python versus king cobra. A massive blood python slowly seeks shelter beneath vegetation, appearing unconcerned about hidden dangers. But its scent attracts the ultimate snake predator, the king cobra, which rises and spreads its hood in warning. Without hesitation, it strikes, igniting the python's survival instinct. A chaotic life-or-death struggle erupts, while the cobra drives venom-filled fangs into its rival. The python retaliates with its most powerful weapon, muscular coils, wrapping tightly around the attacker's head, attempting to crush and suffocate before venom takes effect. But in this race against death, chemistry triumphs over physics. Neurotoxin rapidly blocks nerve signals controlling the python's muscles. The coils weaken and loosen. As life's balance tips toward venom. Suddenly, the prey breaks free from the deadly fangs, recognizing the opponent's resilience. The predator abandons this heavyweight adversary. King snake versus rat snake. In the cold reptilian world, the title king snake is no exaggeration. With natural venom resistance and superior muscular strength, it turns its own kind into food. Here, a silent battle has ended. The hunter begins swallowing from the head after using powerful constriction to neutralize the prey. Not only must it kill with suffocating force, but it must swallow a body nearly its own size. Its flexible jaw structure allows maximum expansion while navigating rough terrain. Despite doubled weight, it moves steadily, dragging the enormous meal across fallen logs. The swallowing process is slow and requires absolute patience. Rhythmic jaw contractions act like steps, pushing the victim deeper into the esophagus. Nature's cruelty allows no waste. The stronger has prevailed to sustain the survival cycle. Mussurana versus jararaca. On scorching rocky terrain, a brutal hunt begins. Using keen scent detection, it discovers a resting jararaca and approaches from behind without a sound. In a split second, the mussurana strikes and coils tightly around its rival. The jararaca retaliates violently, delivering venomous bites into its enemy. However, the mussurana possesses natural immunity to other snakes' venom, rendering the prey's greatest weapon useless. It applies powerful constriction, creating immense pressure that restricts blood flow and causes suffocation. This is a battle of endurance, where the hunter patiently waits for oxygen and energy to drain from the struggling prey. When resistance ceases, the mussurana performs the final step of survival, swallowing headfirst. This instinct ensures scales do not obstruct the throat. A cold ending, yet clear evidence of nature's remarkable adaptation within the food chain. Malayan Krait versus sunbeam snake. The Malayan Krait, one of the most venomous snakes in Southeast Asia, has a specialized habit of hunting other snakes. Its victim, a sunbeam snake with iridescent scales, is resisting in desperation. The sunbeam snake is non-venomous, Its only weapon is muscular strength. However, the Malayan krait doesn't need physical strength. It only needs to lock its jaws to pump a large amount of neurotoxin directly into the opponent's bloodstream, destroying the communication system between the brain and muscles. It patiently endures the pressure, continuously chewing its jaws to pump the toxin deep into the victim's veins. The once powerful constrictions now become loose and weak as the venom begins to completely paralyze the motor system. In the final seconds, the sunbeam snake found an escape route. It gathered all its remaining strength to flee from the cannibalistic hunter. King Cobra versus Cobra. In the reptile world, size is often the deciding factor in who holds the power of life and death. A giant king cobra is encountering a smaller black cobra. The king cobra, the notorious snake eater of the deep jungle, completely overwhelms its opponent with terrifying majesty before beginning the hunt. The giant quickly launches a precise strike, locking its sharp teeth into the opponent's head. Potent venom is injected directly, while its rippling muscles pin the prey to the ground to extinguish any attempt at resistance. Immediately after being bitten, the black cobra's body becomes completely paralyzed. The prey's life is being slowly stripped away. Once the prey is completely paralyzed, the swallowing process begins. It patiently swallows each part of the long body. This is the cold law of survival in nature, where the strong turn their own kind into an energy source to continue dominating the forest. King Cobra versus Rat Snake. The king cobra is the undisputed king, reaching lengths that can exceed 5 meters. They are the longest venomous snakes in the world. Its scientific name, Ophiophagus, literally translates to snake eater, revealing a brutal specialized diet. This is not just a predator, but a killing machine evolved to destroy its own kind. Today's target is a large Indo-Chinese rat snake, a non-venomous species. While the rat snake is focused on hunting a small rodent, it is completely unaware of the danger lurking behind. While the king cobra possesses deadly venom and overwhelming size, the rat snake relies purely on speed to survive. Suddenly, the king cobra launches a decisive strike with lightning speed. Sharp teeth sink into the opponent's body, pumping a large amount of neurotoxin into the bloodstream. Paralysis quickly spreads throughout the prey's body. When resistance ceases, the winner begins the swallowing ritual. Thanks to a detached lower jaw structure connected by highly elastic ligaments, the king cobra can swallow prey equal to or 3 times its body size. Mussurana versus rattlesnake. A black mussurana, a species that specializes in hunting other snakes, has successfully ambushed a rattlesnake. The predator uses its muscular strength to coil tightly and neutralize the prey. Although the rattlesnake possesses deadly venom that can take down large mammals, it becomes inferior to an enemy specifically evolved to destroy it. The mussurana's blood contains special antibodies that completely neutralize rattlesnake venom. Therefore, when they clash, the mussurana remains as calm as if nothing is happening. The rattlesnake's resistance causes trouble for the mussurana. The hunter delivers multiple bites to the prey's torso. However, these body bites are not enough to immediately take down an adult rattlesnake with thick skin and persistent vitality. After relentless biting attempts and constant adjustments, the mussurana finally achieves its goal. It launches a precise bite hitting the rattlesnake's head, locking the opponent's deadly jaws. This bite ends all resistance efforts, initiating the process of swallowing the prey from the head according to biological instinct. Centipede versus rattlesnake. In the hierarchy of the jungle, we often assume venomous snakes are at the top of the food chain. However, nature always has brutal exceptions. Facing this highly venomous rattlesnake is a giant Scolopendra centipede, a species possessing sharp venomous forcipules modified from front legs, allowing them to inject venom even while clinging tightly to the prey. The snake tries to find a way to attack the centipede, but the toxins have already taken control of its body. Extreme pain follows as the centipede venom begins to soak deep into the nervous system, accompanied by a loss of bodily control. Fortunately, after many futile bites, it finally hit the target. The situation immediately reversed. The tiny hunter became the victim before the intense survival instinct. Spitting cobra versus puff adder. The spitting cobra and the puff adder are both among Africa's most dangerous venomous snakes, but their survival strategies are completely different. The puff adder is famous for its passive defense, relying on very thick skin and a stout body that makes it difficult for opponents to approach and attack. However, this biological armor failed to protect it tonight. The spitting cobra is the complete aggressor, constantly testing the prey's reactions with calculated exploratory bites. The act of biting and releasing quickly also helps the cobra check if the prey is paralyzed without risking a firm hold, avoiding a counterbite from the puff adder. The puff adder's passivity unintentionally creates an opportunity for the hunter to observe more closely. Upon detecting the puff adder's neck exposed for a split second, the cobra immediately launches a precise strike. The aggressor once again brings home an overwhelming victory. King cobra versus snake. The king cobra, the world's longest venomous snake, is performing its signature killer instinct cannibalism. The prey, despite having its body firmly gripped, still tries to resist and counterattack the predator. However, the predator's superior strength makes every effort meaningless. The king cobra's blood contains special proteins that help neutralize the venom of the snakes it usually hunts, and the bites from the small snake have almost no effect. Once again, the king's status is clearly affirmed. Rat versus python. A rat is foraging around a large tree base and burrows. The animal appears alert, but does not detect the danger camouflaged nearby. Shattering the silent atmosphere, the python launches a strike with explosive speed. The surprise ambush leaves the prey without a single chance to escape. This cold embrace stops blood circulation and causes the prey to gradually lose consciousness. The python will never loosen its control until the opponent's last breath fades away. When the hunt ends, a true feast begins. The python flexibly detaches its jaw joints to swallow prey much larger than the size of its head. The skin expands incredibly, while the muscles move rhythmically to push the food deep into the stomach. This meal will be a valuable energy source, helping it maintain life for many days to come, amidst the harshness of nature. King Cobra versus Taios. Even within a narrow glass enclosure, the killer instinct still rises strongly. The hunter shows no haste, cornering the prey into a dead end before launching the final attack. The deadly bite leaves the prey writhing in pain. It needs to do nothing else but hold the bite and wait for the result. As soon as the sharp teeth grip the opponent's head, the hunted also knows exactly where its fate is headed. Overwhelming venom and mechanical strength, this is not a coincidence, but an entire evolutionary process and an effort to perfect the hunting instincts of the ultimate reptile. Swallowing from the head aligns the victim's scales, helping the hunter consume the massive meal as smoothly as possible. Even its own kind is just a part of the menu for the king of snakes. Lion versus buffalo. On the wild grassland, peace is always fragile. When a solitary African buffalo appears, the predatory instinct awakens. The male lion silently stalks, slowly crossing the trail to approach the target. Its target is the calf, but the mother buffalo has realized the danger and promptly intercepted the predator. Every second is a life and death tug of war. The buffalo continuously struggles in hopes of escaping the jaw lock, but the lion is the one enduring horrific pressure. It bites tightly, waiting for the opponent to exhaust. The battle drains all physical strength, despite the effort to resist. The buffalo has fallen. The male lion pants right beside. However, their true prey is the buffalo calf. As conspecifics approach, they share the hard-earned reward together. Survival is always exchanged with blood and fierce will. Lion versus giraffe. Dawn on the savannah. A life and death battle begins. The lioness seizes the opportunity, lunging to firmly grip the hind thigh. The hunter tries to use its weight to pin the opponent down, but the giant prey resiliently walks on, dragging the enemy along. Its hind leg is injured, and these hunters have realized that understanding this fatal weakness well, the lion pride changes tactics. They surround, keep their distance, and patiently exert psychological pressure to wear down the opponent's stamina. Life is now determined by only the smallest mistake. Being continuously jerked by heavy weight, the long legs gradually weaken, lose balance, and collapse. The pride quickly rushes in to control, closing the fierce hunt. In the cruel operation of nature, death is never useless. It is the price to pay, so the cycle of survival never stops forever. Lion versus wildebeest. On the savannah, the lioness silently stalks, approaching the wildebeest drinking water. She unexpectedly lunges to attack. A fierce struggle breaks out in the mud as the antelope thrashes to throw off the predator. The massive weight of the antelope is a great challenge. Despite being attacked unexpectedly, it resists fiercely in the mud to find a way to live. The pride advantage immediately appears when two conspecifics approach. All trust in the ability of this lioness. No one interferes. The final support coming from the strong pin of a teammate has ended the weak chain of resistance. Lion versus eland. Do you think lions always easily take down prey? In reality, every hunt is a game of life and death. Look at this eland antelope, weighing nearly a ton, 4 times larger than the enemy. With a mere 200 kilograms of body weight, she almost has to gamble her whole life in exchange for a hearty meal. As soon as the eland loses balance and collapses, the lioness immediately delivers a suffocating bite to the snout, the trademark bite of the big cat, extinguishing all resistance. Even though it fought resiliently until the last minute, this life is forced to fall to become the life source nourishing the beast pride. Lion versus buffalo. Amidst the savanna grassland, a life and death confrontation takes place. The giant African buffalo is surrounded by a pride of lions. The thick skin makes the initial bites unable to take down the prey yet. The buffalo stubbornly endures. However, the lion pride is extremely patient, fully understanding that a counterattack could cost them their lives. they choose to cling to the hind legs. The accumulated weight from the pride makes the buffalo open its mouth wide, panting, revealing exhaustion. The suffocating pressure finally brought down the buffalo. It collapsed onto the grass. Even having to gamble their lives, the reward for the lions is a massive food source enough to feed the whole pride for many days. Leopard versus cheetah. The cheetah is the fastest creature on the planet, but its fragile bones make them extremely disadvantaged in close combat. Sniffing out the invisible danger, the survival instinct forces the cheetah family to immediately scatter and run away. The one appearing is a leopard. The mother cheetah quickly chases after the troublemaker. In the panic, a cub falls behind. It completely freezes its body. This is a natural survival reflex, aiming to avoid triggering the chasing instinct of the larger enemy. Facing a professional hunter will be a great challenge for the mother cheetah. When the giant opponent turns back to threaten, the weight class difference makes the mother cheetah pause. She fully understands a fatal bite will end it all. Ignoring the weak, harassing effort, the leopard coldly walks straight into the bushes, as if not caring about the threat behind. In the ruthless wild world, great speed sometimes also has to bow before absolute power. Leopard versus lion. Survival on the savannah is always fierce. The leopard possesses a wonderful evolutionary ability, carrying prey heavier than its body up tall trees to protect food from large scavengers. But the morsel has attracted the queen of the savannah, the lioness, with a body structure specialized for hunting on the ground, remains determined to climb the steep tree trunk to strip away the prize. The leopard retreats deep onto the towering branch. Contrary to the flexibility of the leopard, the lioness clearly reveals clumsiness. The heavy weight makes it hard for her to keep balance. She looks up at the prey without being able to reach it. Realizing the risk of fatal injury if she falls, the lioness puts aside the instinct to rob, carefully climbs down to the ground, and silently retreats. Leopard versus African wild dog. Pulling prey up trees. An evolutionary advantage of the leopard has helped them always keep food safe from the majority of predators. But it seems the little ones process the prey quite awkwardly. African wild dogs appear. And also, right at the moment, the juicy prey falls to the ground. The leopard cub leaves the high position, descending to the ground to eat the prey. This is a reckless decision. The smell of blood attracts African wild dogs, a species with the highest hunting success rate thanks to pack tactics. Seeing the enemies rushing forward en masse, The mother leopard growls a threat, urgently pulling the rest of the prey up the tree. The wild dog pack has to hover under the tree base in helplessness, but it seems those little boys have lost points in their mother's eyes. Did you know the ultimate stealth hunter can also make a fatal mistake? The leopard lowers its center of gravity. Camouflaged in the tall grass, stalking an African wild dog resting alone. The leopard patiently closes the gap. The wild dog is small, but possesses a very strong bite force. Even so, when separated from the pack, it looks like a perfect defenseless prey.
These dogs would spot him.
The moment they are right next to each other, the prey still hasn't realized the danger. But the hunter was wrong. When having pack strength, the leopard itself truly becomes the prey. But the bites have left severe consequences for the unlucky wild dog. The whole pack is forced to leave the weakling behind to maintain absolute strength and safety for the species. Puffin versus skua. At the edge of the towering cliffs carved into the ocean, a puffin colony is starting a new day. The careful parents step out, preparing to plunge into the risky ocean for the fragile little lives craving food behind them. With a highly evolved pectoral muscle system, they flap their wings hundreds of beats per minute, tearing the wind and gliding over the white-capped waves to head toward the rich fishing grounds. When the target appears, the figure of a waddling creature on land immediately disappears. However, death is waiting right at the threshold of the nest. The phantom skuas hover to execute the evolutionary strategy named kleptoparasitism. This is the blatant plundering behavior of others' hard work to optimize survival energy for themselves. Lightning-fast aerial dogfights break out. The pirate birds utilize their giant wingspans along with brutal ramming to force the opponent to regurgitate the spoils. Even so, the parenting instinct makes the prey determined not to back down. In this fierce dance between will and greed, the smallest mistake in the air is enough to extinguish the exhausting effort of a long day. Overcoming the veil of pursuit, the brave warrior has finally landed safely inside the deep burrow. The precious marine protein source is perfectly preserved, illuminating the fierce heartbeat for the next generation of nature. Hawk versus squirrel. A squirrel sits on a pile of nuts, silently nibbling its meal, but not forgetting to maintain vigilance. Its ears constantly perk up, catching every smallest sound in the wind. Even so, it still cannot detect the danger approaching. Only when the ground shakes from the dive does the hunter reveal itself. Taking advantage of the special feather structure that helps fly without making a sound, the hawk silently swoops down to capture the prey. The talons strike hard onto the squirrel's back, pinning the target tightly. The hawk quickly grabs the victim and soars away right before the squirrel can have any defensive reaction. Swan versus goose. Did you know that behind their universally admired elegance, white swans are among the most aggressively territorial birds? On lakes, they are not only symbols of grace, but also uncompromising tyrants. When a flock of Canada geese enters shallow waters, the swan immediately adopts the busking posture, retracting its neck and raising its wings into an arch display. In avian language, this is a clear declaration of war. Even when outnumbered, the swan advances steadily, exploiting its massive size to exert overwhelming psychological pressure, forcing intruders to retreat onto land. But when patience runs out, an explosive attack unfolds. When driving enemies away, white swans stretch their necks, spread their wings, and run across the water at high speed without taking flight. This is how they display muscular power and immense size to intimidate opponents. And the intruders are forced to leave the territory of this stubborn ruler. Lesser black-backed gull versus feral pigeon. Along the edge of the pond, a lesser black-backed gull silently observes the surroundings. Discovering the feral pigeon off guard, it suddenly lunges forward, forcing the prey to fall straight into the water. The attack continues right in the pond, where the pigeon completely loses its ability to resist. The gull uses its sturdy beak to continuously peck at the victim's head and neck, simultaneously submerging the prey deeper. Taking advantage of the water environment is a familiar hunting tactic of the gull. The pigeon cannot struggle when its feathers are soaked and in an airless environment. After just a short time, the pigeon's resistance disappears, and the hunt ends right where it began. Eagle versus rabbit. On a wide open grassy field, the eagle relentlessly tracks a fleeing rabbit below. It maintains a parallel flight path, continuously cornering the prey, forcing it to change direction multiple times to reduce its speed. Hares inherently have the advantage of sprinting short distances, but continuous sharp turns cause it to consume stamina very quickly. Crossing many different terrains is not an easy feat for the rabbit. When noticing the prey starting to lose breath and slow down, the eagle slowly lowers its altitude, choosing a safe approach angle from behind. Taking advantage of the great lift of its wings, it snatches the rabbit, pulling the victim off the ground and carrying it away immediately. White-tailed eagle versus mallard duck. In the vast sky, a white-tailed eagle circles to observe the mallard duck foraging under the water surface. It does not rush to swoop down immediately, but gradually lowers its altitude, silently waiting for the moment the prey surfaces. Before long, a duck begins to appear. The eagle immediately swoops close to the water surface, continuously threatening and forcing the duck to submerge. When the distance is close enough, the eagle launches a decisive pounce. The prey is snatched. And the meal quickly begins. Gull versus penguin. Spring is very short in Antarctica, turning the penguin nesting grounds into a highly risky survival area. With an extremely sturdy beak, the predator quickly picks the victim's flesh bit by bit. The gulls take advantage of the opportunity, swooping down and stealing a chick right in the middle of the flock. These ruthless hunters even push the prey into the freezing water so it quickly dies from suffocation. However, in this situation, the parent birds managed to rush over in time to intervene and save their chick. In this harsh environment, life and death always go hand in hand, continuing every day without ever stopping. Red fox versus eagle. The sub-zero cold of the Shiratoko Peninsula cannot defeat the survival will of the red fox. It still persistently clings on, using its sharp eyes to scan every sign of food amidst the white wasteland. Thanks to its absolutely insulating thick fur, the fox confidently wanders on the ice surface, searching for scattered food from fishing boats. However, the most dangerous enemy here is not the frost, but the dark shadows hovering in the sky. When the red fox recklessly approaches the fish, the fierce competition between the two carnivores begins. A series of sharp talons continuously strike down to attack. This pressure forces the fox to let go of the bait and shrink back to defend its life.
Continuous fighting works to a fox's advantage.
While the flock of birds is engrossed in scrambling against each other in the air, the piece of meat accidentally falls to the ground. Taking advantage of that chaotic moment, the red fox quickly retrieves the reward. Bald eagle versus goose. How can an animal survive among tens of thousands of its own kind? Crowdedness often creates a wonderful protective shield, but at the same time, it also becomes a magnet attracting the most patient predators. Despite possessing far-reaching vision and razor-sharp talons, the bald eagle is not in a hurry to attack. It studies the movement of the whole flock, silently waiting for a weak link to reveal itself amidst the giant wall of feathers. However, the bald eagle is an exception. Possessing keen eyesight, many times greater than a human's, the formidable predator of North America is silently observing, easily seeing through the undulating white curtain to find a weakness. Amidst the freezing water surface, an exhausted goose has fallen behind. Seizing that moment, the eagle launches an accurate pounce with its talons, ending the pursuit. Crow versus hen. In the quiet sky, black crows are soaring, constantly looking around for hunting opportunities. On the ground, the mother hen is leading her small brood to forage, completely unaware that death is lurking. As soon as the enemy swoops down, the maternal instinct immediately awakens. The hens frantically launch continuous pecking and kicking attacks at the intruder. Crows are intelligent birds specializing in hunting young, but they had to pay a high price for misjudging the fierce resistance power of motherly love. Cornered and relentlessly thrown around, the aerial hunting machine now falls into panic, completely losing its ability to defend against the wrath. The clash closes extremely unexpectedly. The cunning hunting machine is now caught in the opponent's feet. A reluctant ending, as the battle can now no longer continue. Black stork. Maternal love in nature is not always peaceful. On the nest of the black stork, providing food for the entire rapidly growing brood is an overwhelming burden. When the source of life becomes increasingly scarce, the mother bird is forced to execute an extremely cold law right in her own home. Just a quick glance, we can easily notice the clear difference in stature among the chicks. The mother bird will silently evaluate and aim straight at the most stunted individual to eliminate. In the wild world, this decision helps concentrate the entire meager amount of food for the large and healthy chicks, ensuring they have the highest chance of reaching adulthood. Even when lying down to keep warm, those enveloping wings also only give absolute priority to the 3 healthy chicks. Amidst harsh nature, this act of abandonment is not a crime at all, but the only choice to protect the existence of an entire generation. Falcon versus magpie. Wild nature has never had room for mercy. On the green, moss-covered nest ground, an aerial assassin is pinning its prey to the ground. Falcons are perfect hunting machines. Their talons act like a giant wrench. Once locked tight, the victim is almost certain of a death sentence. Refusing to give up, the magpie gathers its last bit of fading strength to flap its wings fiercely, creating a desperate tug of war right on the cold ground. In response to that panic is an extremely cold-blooded attitude. The hunter calmly observes the surroundings, leaving its body weight to press the prey to the point of suffocation. The ruthless assassin uses its beak to pluck the prey's feathers clean, finding a way to pierce straight into the ill-fated victim's throat. The battle ends in a fading, agonizing cry. Hit subscribe to the channel to join us in unveiling the truth about the most terrifying hunting machines. Great Gray Shrike versus Sooty Falcon. Amidst the deserted rocky nesting area, a cunning small bird has discovered a loophole and sneaked inside. In the wild world, the mother bird leaving the nest to forage always harbors a huge risk, creating a golden opportunity for opportunists to come and slaughter the young. The intruder immediately lunges in to peck repeatedly and drag the naked chick out of the safe hidden corner. Although completely weak and having not opened its eyes, the survival instinct urged the chick to continuously kick its legs, writhe, and flap its bare wings to desperately fight back against the enemy. The cruel harassment persists, making the tiny life gradually exhaust its strength. Just as the intruder left, the giant mother falcon managed to return to the nest in time to rescue the tiny life. With the gentleness of maternal love, the mother bird uses her beak to skillfully pull the panicking baby into her embrace, using her thick feathers to warm and shelter it. Eagle versus vulture. On the arid, dry branch, the eagle and the vulture encounter each other before spreading their wings to soar into the deep blue sky. Eagles are the true lords of the sky. They possess superhuman eyesight and powerful wingspans, allowing them to dominate and completely control vast territories from above. Suddenly, a dogfight breaks out. Right as the boundary of death draws near. Luckily, the vulture managed to escape from the hunter. It quickly dives into a large bush to shake off the opponent. However, that encounter was not meant to annihilate, but to affirm bravery and boundaries. Amidst the stratosphere, power is only truly meaningful when accompanied by control, and the one who masters oneself truly masters the sky. Eagle versus eagle. The sky belongs to the strongest, along the majestic strait. The white-tailed eagle is soaring to conduct a deadly patrol.
The white-tailed eagle.
Their eyesight is many times that of a human, allowing them to detect the reflection of fish scales through multiple layers of water before launching a lightning strike.
White-tailed eagles in the world.
But nature is not always perfect. The slippery prize unexpectedly slipped from the talons and fell straight into the deep sea.
They still jump in.
But perhaps it had trespassed into a new territory. The second swoop close to the water surface went perfectly. The deadly pair of talons locked tight onto the fish's life. But an ambitious challenger lunges forward, swinging a leg lock attack, trying to ruin the aerial feast. And the illegal intruder must accept leaving empty-handed. Hawk versus osprey. The safe nest suddenly turns into a bloody battlefield in the absence of the mother bird. 3 tiny lives fall into the crosshairs of the hunting machine. The hawk swoops down, pinning its deadly talons tightly into the backs of the weak babies, opening a cruel torture. Both are apex birds of prey. Hawks will often proactively attack to drive massive opponents out of their hunting area. Nature reveals its cold instinct to save itself. The remaining chick rises to resist and repel the disturber. However, with hawks, their talons are designed to pierce and constrict terrestrial or aerial prey. And they almost always have the advantage when facing the eagle species that can only hunt fish. Overwhelming power has drained the last bit of persistence. The tiny victim cannot maintain resistance, slowly giving up and succumbing to the scythe of death. Skimmer. The young skimmer is taking its first toddling steps of life, completely neglecting vigilance towards its surroundings. The adult individuals nearby aggressively lunge forward. With its sharp beak, it heartlessly clamps tight and brutally throws the tiny life onto the snow ground. When nesting in closely packed colonies, a chick accidentally wandering into a neighbor's territory is a death sentence. The adults will immediately slaughter the intruder to protect their space. Flipped on its back after the fatal blow, the tiny victim gasps and thrashes in despair amidst the encirclement of cold-blooded killers. Even when sharing the same species, danger is always lurking. The tragedy closes on the snow ground, leaving a deep obsession about the unfeeling survival law of nature. Crocodile versus stork. However, nature does not tolerate mistakes sluggishly, a testament to the cold and undeniable operation of the wild world. What you have just watched shows that in the world of venomous snakes, venom does not always guarantee an absolute advantage. And just a slower moment is enough to completely change the outcome. Every encounter is a direct competition, where the one striking first usually holds control. If you find this video fascinating, hit like, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel to continue exploring many other dramatic wild moments. Thank you for watching until the end. See you again in the next video.